Good day, everyone, and welcome to my channel. We are at Badwater, California right now. This is the lowest place in North America. I should say we're making a pilgrimage here, and the reason I say that is it's not the most beautiful place in the world, but it's a kind of a must-do. It's a mandatory place to visit when you're in Death Valley. If you go to Death Valley, first thing that somebody's going to ask you is, did you go to Badwater? And if you say no, they'll be like, what's wrong with you? So we're going to make the pilgrimage, we're going to check it out, and we're going to see what it has to offer. This is the Badwater pool. It's right next to the parking area, so this is the first thing you come to. It's right up next to the road, but as I said, it's not the lowest point. And then if you look just up from that is the parking area. There's more information plaques over there, which we'll go check out. So as the lore goes, a minor prospector came through here many, many years ago. He tried to let his mule have a little water at the pond back there. The mule refused. The mule would not drink. And this is due to the fact that the water is super salty and just really isn't drinkable. But even the mule wouldn't drink it. And of course the prospector knew that this was kind of a rare thing because the mule would drink just about any water. So when he got in the presence of other folks, he said that the water was bad here, and he called it Badwater, and that name stuck, so it's now called Badwater. And so it's basically just the area of water that feeds this area is 9,000 square miles, or about the size of New Hampshire. So it's a huge area that feeds this, but there's so little water that it's not going to ever fill up. It just comes down here, evaporates, and leaves the salt behind. So basically we're walking on a salt field, and the place I'm walking right now is just looks like a path. It's just, all it is the fact that people have been walking on the salt, and the path just becomes a little wider when people walk toward the edge, etc. So if you look at over that way, you'd see it's a lot bumpier and rougher, and that's what we're walking on. So what looks like a road or a path really is not. So the other thing I should mention is that, so this is the Badwater is the lowest point in North America, but the area right at Badwater itself, there back where the water is not actually the lowest point. The lowest point is several miles out on the salt flat. So if you want to go to the true lowest point, then you have to walk for quite a ways. My recollection is it's about 4 miles or so out to the true lowest point. And my experience is that most of the tourists that you see out here will go out for maybe a mile or so, and then they've had kind of enough. It's early January right now. It's 65 degrees, so it's just a beautiful time to be out here if you're going to be out here. If you come out here in the heat of summer, it's pretty miserable. I've been out here in like March, and that was hard to tolerate. So if you come out in July or August, be prepared for 115 degrees on average. So not really recommended, but the weird thing about Death Valley is that it's so nice in the winter, but the biggest crowds are still in the summer in July. So it doesn't make any sense to me, but I think that there are tourists who just want to experience the heat of the desert. They actually, that's why they come here, you know, they hear about how hot Death Valley is and then they want to experience it. So it's not for me, to be honest. It's not for me, it isn't. And my understanding is that, not to be stereotyping people, but it's often the German tourists who are the ones that are most interested in coming out and experiencing 115-degree heat. But, you know, that's what Death Valley is known for, so I think some people just want to check that out. Okay, after about a half mile or so, the trail narrows down a little bit. And but you can see the tourists are still having a good go. So what happens is, after a while, that narrow path, you get down on the narrow path kind of sort of ends. I mean, it doesn't end, but it just, the distinction between the path and the surroundings disappears, and then you're just out on the pure salt flat. And so it's just big salty area. And there's no distinct path, but there's still people walking out here. Okay, so I've kind of walked to the edge of the salty part, and then this sort of brown crusty stuff starts. I've looked on my altimeter, which goes off of GPS coordinates, and it says, I have no idea if you're getting glare on that, it says minus 305 feet, which is not 100% accurate because it's, the low point is minus 282. So I honestly don't know if we're lower here than at the starting point, because it almost felt like we were going up a little bit and then maybe it goes down, but I believe that the low point is out that way. So from the parking lot you would head to the southwest, and that brings you to the low point. So that is my belief. But I'm going to give you a little pano now without me in it. So that's looking back to where the peeps are. And we walked out along the salt there. Now we're looking, about now I'd say we're looking north. And then it's late in the afternoon, so the sun is gonna sneak behind that peak right there. You can get some texture in this brown crusty stuff there. And now we are looking to the south. Super barren, nothing growing out here. I can see there's still a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming to check this out. It might be the most popular attraction in Death Valley, I'm not sure. Okay, as I walk along, the sun is just peeking behind the mountains on the west side of the valley. But the peaks on the east side of the valley are still lit up, so it's really nice. You can see all the folks walking along there. Give you a little close-up of what the salt looks like. All right, folks, well, that's about a wrap for the Badwater video. As I say, it's sort of a pilgrimage. It's a must-do, even though it's not super interesting. I guess it's interesting. I mean, I love the desert, so anything desert is good with me. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it the old thumbs up. And please subscribe also, that would help me out a lot. I'd really appreciate it. leave comments if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or whatever. I appreciate that. So until next time, thanks for watching. Here's some information on the lowest places on Earth. And there's the Badwater Basin in the Salton Sea, which is also over 200 feet below sea level. There's a little information on low points. There's one in Argentina, and there's a low point in the Dominican Republic. And then in Africa, there's a whole bunch of them. In the northern desert there. And one in the Dead Sea. There's one in Kazakhstan. And one in China. And then okay. Wow. So just heard the ranger hollering over the loudspeaker. I forgot that dogs are not allowed out there. And I actually did, I was just passing people with a dog, and that's who she's yelling at. I imagine it's a little bit embarrassing if you're walking out there with your dog and there's a whole bunch of people around, and then a ranger starts screaming at you from half a mile away over the loudspeaker. Tourists. Okay, the ranger's waiting for the person, I think. But what we have here is an old vintage trailer and a rather modern truck, which is pretty cool.